Welcome to a special edition of the Alex Salmond Show from here in the esplanade of Edinburgh Castle. There is no better place on the planet to celebrate New Year's Eve, or Hogmanay as we call it in Scotland, than here in Scotland's capital city. And we've got a bumper show, festive show lined up for you today. We've got Judy Murray, the most successful tennis coach in history. We've got Gerard Burns, Scotland's most famous portrait painter. And we've got Clarke, a man who does the Donald even better than the Donald himself. Tasmina Ahmed Sheikh will be looking at a presentation of Gerard Burns' paintings, but first, let's turn to my favourite part of the show, your tweets and emails and messages. Let's do it quickly, because although Scotland's national dress is great, it can be a wee bit chilly around the knees. One of the great New Year traditions around the world is the New Year resolution, and you've sent us in quite a few. David Jones says, to be a better person next year than I was this year. Sound advice, Davy. But Thomas Rossetti says, I hope I can avoid the temptation to work for thoroughly unscrupulous organisations who lure me in with a lucrative salary offer. How about you, Alec? Well, Thomas, I think I should be all right. I turned down ITV and Going Into the Jungle. And as for the BBC, well, they spent all their money in Gary Lineker. Jings Monty says, to try not to get eye-poppingly angry whenever I watch the news. Understandable, Jings Monty. I'm not sure if it's the news or the way it's presented which is making you angry. Inquire here says, become an MP, claim as many freebies, holidays, time off as I can, plus a fantastic wage, may even do a reality TV show appearance for a few extra bob while I'm supposed to be working. Sorted. Inquire, I wouldn't be too hard on members of Parliament. Most of them, and I emphasise most of them, are doing their best. And Will at Seattle says, Trump resigning and most of the White House going to jail. Yeah, I think quite a few people are wishing for that, but at this stage, it's probably just wishful thinking. And finally, Sunny Deer from Pakistan. Try to apply good quotations about life and humanity at myself. That's excellent, Sunny Deer. That sounds like a bit of Eastern philosophy for the new year. Now, as we know, the creative industries are very strong in Scotland at the moment. Tasmina's been speaking to renowned Scottish artist Gerard Burns. Let's take a look.
I'm privileged to be here with a fantastic Scottish artist, Gerard Burns, who's going to talk us through some of his amazing paintings. Welcome to the Alex Salmond Show, Gerard.
Great to be here.
Can I draw you first of all to this amazing painting you've done, particularly the influence behind the saltire in your paintings, and also let us know who this lovely young lady is.
Well, the wee girl is my granddaughter, Sophie. I paint children because there's less baggage when you paint a child. An adult brings with them life experience. So the child is a much more innocent presentation. The saltires have been in my work for many, many years. In fact, the saltire is my connection with Alex. The whole time he was First Minister, he had one of my paintings, The Rowan, hanging on the wall behind his desk. I painted the saltires initially because I'm Scottish. I was drawn to the flag. I love the colour, the shapes. Why wouldn't you have it in a painting, basically? It's
absolutely stunning. Now let's move on to this very interesting piece. If you can just talk us through your thoughts behind this and what's the story you're telling here?
So this is a metaphor, if you like, for contemporary life. We have the young man on a high wire, surrounded by money, which is a metaphor for opportunity, if you like. And I think the idea is relatively simple. It's all there, but if he reaches too far, over he goes. I'm sure all of us could probably relate in some way in our own lives to being this young guy and to that experience.
It's fantastic. Now, of course, you're very well known for your portraits, and we have some here, but can I draw you particularly and finally to one of the amazing Margot MacDonald? Tell us about this, Gerard.
Margot, the family approached me a year after Margot had passed away and asked if I would make a portrait. It was a tough one because to make a portrait I have to spend time with the individual. That wasn't possible in this case, so I had to dig in and see if I could find images which would have been like the type of images I would have photographed or had taken myself. I found two completely different sets of images, so I ended up, never one to make things easy for myself, I made two. One of which hangs in the Scottish Parliament at the moment, and this one, which actually I think as a pure portrait, this is possibly the stronger of the two. It's a much more austere piece. It's almost quasi-religious, the hands clasped, the light coming from above. And you can see that although I didn't meet her, I've got it in good authority, she was no pushover. I think that's fairly obvious from this painting.
Absolutely stunning. Now, Gerard, you're going to join us downstairs on the sofa with the rest of our guests for the special Hogmanay edition of the Alex Salmond Show, so we look forward to catching up with you later.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So Taz, Gerard Burns has been Scotland's leading portrait painter for quite a while, so he must have painted everybody and nobody in Scotland over the last generation. Did you have a favourite of the ones you saw?
I think he's got a few left to go, but we saw an amazing portrait of Margot MacDonald, and he's painted a couple of Margot. Even more interestingly than the portraits are the paintings that he has that depict the saltire and also his lovely granddaughter Sophie, which were really, I think the saltire influences a lot of what he does.
Because Gerard's gone through a number of periods. I mean, he had a period where he was painting saltires just about every picture. They were great, but did he explain what was fascinating him about Scotland's national flag? I
think as an artist, as many creatives have a real interest in the politics of the country too. And I think he thinks the saltire, and he's right, I think, depicts a lot about Scotland and a lot about the conversation in Scotland that continues post the 2014 referendum, and that's why it features so highly. And finally, has Gerard painted you? Because he has painted me. Not yet, but when we get him on set to question him with the other guests, I'm going to ask him if he'll do that. That's vested interest. Might as well give it a shot. Thank you, Taz. Thank you. Well, it's been a great show so far, but I think it's time to welcome our guests. Yeah, let's do that. Star of radio, Des Clarke. Tennis coach extraordinaire, Judy Murray. And Scotland's foremost painter, Gerard Burns.
Good to see you.
Hi, Gerard. Wow.
Good to see you, sir. There you are.
Well, listen, happy Hogmanay to all three of you.
So did you all have a good Christmas?
Fantastic, fantastic.
What was your favourite gift, Gerard?
Well, actually, my gift this year, the best gift was we had a huge family Christmas. We had 20 for dinner. All my grandchildren, all the in-laws. It was just fantastic.
Who did the cooking?
My darling wife. Well, her and her sisters. It's a kind of team effort, but she's the boss in the kitchen.
And Judy, I have to ask you, did you do the Christmas jumpers with Andy and Jamie this year?
Obviously. That's a big part of our Christmas, that they both get to wear dreadful Christmas jumpers, hopefully with something that lights up or with bells on them, and then they take a Christmas picture to put out on Twitter to share their enjoyment of these Christmas sweaters with as many people as possible.
We always look forward to that. Des, what about you?
I got driving lessons for Christmas.
I thought you'd already sat your test. Did you fail?
No, I think people have seen me drive and think you need lessons. No, I haven't passed the test, and then now they've changed the test as well, and it's even more complicated. It's the Brexit driving lesson, just lots of U-turns, and you just end up going nowhere at the end of it. So I'm doing that now, and also obviously got the Alex Salmond calendar, which is beautiful. I don't know what I'm looking at here, Alex. It's like I've seen the film Basic Instinct. I know how this ends.
But Des, I put you in pole position at your request.
You certainly did. No, absolutely. It's true. Do you know what? I've had a great time with Alex this year, because sometimes I turn into Donald Trump for Alex. He loves it so much. We did a great... I'm going to make Alan great again. He's a great guy, Alan. He's so, so good. I love Hogmanay. This is when I hug many people.
Did you get a present from the Donald?
I got a present, Mexico. I've spent a lot of time building walls, but we're building bridges today, aren't we?
We sure
I
are.
love your tennis kids, Serena and Venus. They're so good. They're so good. Great players. But yeah, had fun. Been a nice Christmas, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been good. We haven't gone to war yet, have we?
Not yet.
Not yet. Don't worry, give it time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Don't wishful thinking. So all things good over Christmas. That's great. And Hogmanay, what are you doing at Hogmanay?
We're actually off very early on New Year's Day, so we're going over to Spain for a wee while with the family again. So Hogmanay, I reckon this year will be a relatively sedate affair, nothing too riotous.
And it's Alex's birthday. How are you celebrating your birthday?
Well, I'm going to collect as many presents as possible. I'm very hopeful, actually, that the Donald will give me something great, but everybody we invite on the show, of course, it's obviously duty-bound to stump up when the time is right. I'm sorry, was this not mentioned to you all?
I never got that in email, no.
Can I ask you, I mean, you've got a claim to be the most successful tennis coach of all time. I mean, you know, 4 Wimbledon titles, and these were just your sons. But you yourself, you had a professional tennis career. You started out as a player yourself.
I was a player, you know, in Scotland, but those were in the days where, you know, tennis was very much a minority sport, and there was no indoor court, so you kind of played tennis in the summer and you played badminton in the winter. So there was no professionalism, there was no real infrastructure, so there wasn't really that many people to play against. So being the Scottish #1 was not such a difficult thing to do because not enough people played the game.
So back in the days when you were the Scottish #1, did you think for a second that you'd actually arrive at a position where both your sons were world #1s at singles and at doubles?
I think when I was Scottish #1, I didn't have any sons, so I probably wasn't anticipating that at all. But no, I never.
Weren't you looking ahead?
No. I think, yeah, I mean, I would never have imagined when I started out as a volunteer coach at Dunblane Tennis Club when my kids were in nappies, and I did it to get out the house. And I traded tennis sessions for childcare because we had no money. Don't judge me. So, you know, the parents of the kids that I worked with, they had to look after the boys in the clubhouse while I did the coaching. And it just kind of snowballed from there slowly. But I never would have imagined we'd all end up doing what we're currently doing, not in a month of Sundays.
And, you know, from women in sports perspective, because I know you do a lot to support women in sport, do you think women get enough of highlight, enough media, enough coverage in the press for some of the amazing Scottish successes we've had?
Yeah, I think nowhere near enough, but I think what I believe in is that we shouldn't get caught up with how many column inches in the back pages, because women's sport will always appeal primarily to women. So put it in front of things that women will read, like the women's pages of newspapers, of women's magazines. And actually, I do believe that investing in the performance of women's sports, individuals and teams, if we can raise the level of the performance, it then becomes more watchable, more sellable, more marketable, more mediatable, if that's a word, which it probably isn't. But if we just need to invest much more to bring the levels up to a stage where people want to watch it because it's good, and you can see that with a lot of the teams this year, you know, in cricket, rugby, hockey, more the England teams, but we need to do that in Scotland and bring the levels up, and then people will want to watch it and talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got lots to discuss, and we'll be right back after this.
They're the war hawks selling you on the idea that dropping bombs brings peace, to the chicken hawks forcing you to fight in the battles that they start.
The news hawks try to tell you that celebrity gossip and tabloid murder trials are the most important news of the day.
While the hawks of advertising tell you that you are not cool enough unless you buy their product.
Watching the hawks, watching the hawks.
These are the hawks that we, along with our audience, will be watching.
Max Kaiser's Financial Survival Guide. Look, Stacy, here's my gold. I'm going to store it safely at the Federal Reserve.
Are you sure it's still there? Are you going to get it back?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck no. What's this, a repatriation scheme? What do we get the rest, in 7 years? Don't let this happen to you. Watch Kaiser Report.
Los Angeles, the city of luxury and fame, but also an alarming number of people living in the streets.
The simple fact in LA is there's just not enough shelter. Even if people on the streets right now decided to come in, there's nowhere to come in.
It's been a struggle, but I'm hanging in there.
This man found his own response to the problem and constructed dozens of tiny homes for people in need of shelter.
When you have nothing and nowhere to go, you know, having something like this may as well be a castle.
But do the authorities accept such solution?
A tiny house on a city parking space is not a solution. You have to have someone monitoring the site, otherwise it'll be a free-for-all.
And is there a better alternative to end the homelessness crisis?
Welcome back to this Hogmanay edition of the Alex Salmond Show. Gerard, I've been looking at the four of us here. I mean, there's two of us that you have painted, and there are two of us, which is Taz and Des, who you haven't painted.
Yet.
But who would you most like to paint?
That's a hard question, Tasmina.
Thank
What's wrong with me?
How do you feel about that?
I feel slighted by that.
This looks fantastic. In fact, I
Is that a genuine offer?
I think we should really. Well, we kind of danced around the question a couple of times, but I really think I think we could do something a bit spectacular.
How can you dance round the question of can I paint you?
I could dance round the question.
Well, I do that. So,
I remember your portrait of Judy. It was you were, if I remember correctly, you were a sort of femme fatale in a chaise longue from the Hollywood great era. That was a fantastic picture.
I was. Gerard came up to Andy's hotel at Cromlix, and I was on this chaise longue. He picked it. I didn't choose it, and it was amazing. I was when he showed me it, when he finished it, I was absolutely blown away by how good it was. It's amazing.
So, Des, you could be in a chaise longue painted by...
what would your pose be, Des?
Can I just say, I have been painted before. It was a police photo fit, but I call it a painting. And I also have done many paintings of Taz, and she won't accept them. I come to her house, I've framed them, I put them through her door, nothing. But I admire you, Judy, I have to say. For Judy to sit here and say that she's Scottish and only played tennis in the summer, that's only 3 days a year. And she got to be the number one. That's an amazing achievement. I'm just proud to be on this couch. No, with you.
That's it. Cards marked.
Being slighted by that, Gerard. I can't believe it.
I think you'd make a great portrait. Gerard, you might want to stretch your invitation and give Des, but Des as Trump, maybe, or just Des as himself?
It could be anything you want to be, Des. I know you love when I'm down.
And how are things in the world of radio for you?
Radio's great. It's funny with doing the stuff with Alec and yourself and doing the Donald Trump stuff, because I do the Capital Breakfast Show, very much pop, hit music, and you used to get requests for Beyonce, and now you get, can you do Beyonce and Donald Trump? Because they've heard the voice, so they want a song and a wee impression. Well, I think now this could be a new thing, the Donald Trump album for 2018.
So this is what gets you out of bed in the morning. You think to yourself, I'm going on to the radio to do Donald Trump again.
Yeah, Donald Trump gets me out of bed in the morning. I want that as the headline.
Have you been...
No, I've never been anywhere near a bed with Donald Trump.
No, have you been on Des's show? And I want to make sure that he's not cut anything that you've said out.
Oh no, I did a fantastic interview with Des's show. It was 5 minutes, and the worst 30 seconds was broadcast. It was amazing.
I have to say, Alec told one of his stories, but the show only lasts 4 hours long, so we had to edit some of it, and I'm sorry about that. But if you ever come on again, Alec, I'll make sure you tell that story.
Just wait till you see the cut of this show, Des.
So Gerard, I discussed with Alex earlier the paintings that you showed me, which are fantastic, and the Saltire theme and all of them, and of course we could have Des draped in a saltire for his portrait.
Absolutely.
But for the benefit of
I think Gerard would want to see my lion rampant, can I just say? Just a thought.
I thought that's why you were sitting there.
Just for Des and also Judy's benefit, tell us a bit more about the influence of saltire in what you do.
As an artist, you are constantly looking for, in the world around you, something which catches your eye, something which gets your attention. The very first saltire that I painted almost 20 years ago. And I've been asked the question, why the saltire? My answer would be, why not? I'm Scottish. Everywhere I see the flag, everywhere I saw the flag, it literally leapt out at me. And I was actually kind of amazed when I decided to make the first big painting with the saltire that no one had actually done this. Really had done it before. So having decided to do it, I decided to really go for it. And the first painting of the saltire, which is actually my connection with Alex, the saltire itself fills almost 80% of the canvas. These paintings, the saltires kind of had their day in the build-up to the referendum.
And your painting filled about 80% of my office as First Minister.
So it did. It did me no harm, I have to say, that painting being...
It was amazing. Every time, when a dignitary or an ambassador, whoever came to see me, they always actually demanded getting the picture taken in front of your painting. It was a fantastic painting there.
And I know you all do a lot of work for charity, and there'll be charities that are close to your heart. Des, I know during the festival you've done a lot of work, and a lot of the money that we gave is a contribution for your efforts to charities. You want to tell us a bit about your charity work?
The charity I was working for and still do is Fab Scotland, who are a great charity based in central Scotland, helping kids with additional support needs and helping their families, giving them respite as well, because it's not just about the kids, although we do care for them, it's about the families that are on that journey with him as well and helping those. And they're great. They've done so well out of the shows that we did with Alec as well. And it feels like I'm doing something special within myself, that being Donald Trump is helping other people, which is a concept I never thought I'd say out loud. And by being Donald, I'm showing her that I'm giving a bit back. Thank you, Johnny. You're so good. And Alan's been so great. It's been so fantastic. And because of it, I haven't declared war on anybody. I'm taking care of Kim Jong-un. Then we're going to go for Kim Jong-2. And then the other Kim Kardashian. She's next. We're going to be so good.
But I mean, if Donald Trump had a tennis match against Andy Murray, who would win?
Oh, I tell you, I would beat Andy every time. I would beat Andy because Andy has a long rally, but I've got the biggest rallies in the world. People come to see me from yards away to speak, and when I hear the phrase "new balls," that's when I start. That's when I really start. Really.
And Judy, now we're on to tennis and moving swiftly on from Donald. I know you work hard to ensure there's access to tennis for people from backgrounds that haven't had perhaps natural opportunities to get involved. Do you think we're making progress in that respect, ensuring that young people do get a chance at learning a great game, great sport?
Yeah, I think we're making a bit of progress. About 4 years ago, I started a programme called Tennis on the Road, which is really just, it's a van full of equipment, and myself and another coach, we work 50 days a year. So yeah, we've just completed our 4th year of it, and we basically take the van into areas where you wouldn't normally expect to find tennis, so mostly rural and disadvantaged areas, and we build workforces out of the local communities. So we show people, teachers, students, parents, club members, coaches of other sports, 5th and 6th year pupils who might want to work with kids or work in sport. We show them how to deliver starter tennis in whatever space they have available, community halls, school playgrounds, school gyms. Because not everywhere has tennis courts, not everywhere has tennis coaches, and not everyone has money to pay for it. So it's a bit like building a volunteer workforce in the more remote or deprived areas of the country, and I absolutely love it, and yes, it is having an effect.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, we talked to Jason Corney about golf in our Christmas show, but how's your tennis, Alex?
Well, I mean, I think I could probably beat Donald Trump, and I doubt very much if I could beat Andy Murray. Let's put it that way. I'm somewhere between the two.
Doesn't sound too great. What about you, Gerard? What's your favourite sport?
Mad keen football fan, mad keen Celtic fan. So I'm in a good place.
Now, Donald or Des, whichever one.
What do you want? Anybody you want to
You've got a difficult relationship with football and American football as well.
That's right. A lot of people taking the knee. When I would see people bow in front of me, I assume they're worshipping me. But the thing is,
what did you get Melania for Christmas, Don?
I don't know what's happening now. I don't know. It's gonna be. I don't know who I am anymore. There's a lot of. I love golf. That's all I'm gonna say. I love it. Like all great leaders, one day I'm gonna die in a bunker. But for me personally, for Des, football was always my game. I loved tennis. Snooker was a great sport for me, but football. But I wasn't very good, and I remember being in my school football team, rite of passage in Scotland. You get your game for the school football team, and I was on the subs bench, and we were getting beat 5-0. And actually, instead of bringing me on the pitch, they brought on a dog. A guy used to come to see the team play, and he had a wee dog with him called Sparky. And to give a bit of a morale boost, they brought Sparky on for the last 2 minutes. He nearly scored. The pelters, the banter I got from my mates, you're rubbish at football, Sparky's better than you, you've got 2 left feet. I'm like, technically so's the dog. What's the problem here? Never played for them again. So that's my memories of football gone.
Well, I'm not really a sort of a football fan. However, let's move on to New Year's resolutions, because we discussed earlier a number of people tweeted in and said what their New Year's resolutions would be. So let's start with you, Des. What are your plans for 2018, and do you have a New Year's resolution? What's on the cards for Des?
I'm not sure about New Year's resolutions because I always break them. In terms of plans for 2018, yes, I want to do more comedy, more on the road. I might dress up more as Donald Trump. I think in terms of a resolution, obviously the obvious one is learning to drive. I just think it's, I'm just so brilliant. I'd maybe learn to be more modest. I think that's a tough one.
Judy, do you have an easier New Year resolution than that one?
Yeah, I've got an easier one. I'm going to learn to cook, and my mother very kindly for Christmas gave me a voucher for Nick Nairn's Cook School. I think she was trying to tell me something that at 58 is about time you learn to cook.
That was a hint, wasn't it? Yeah.
And Gerard, what about you?
I'm I'm learning Spanish. I've been working quite hard at it, so it's time to actually do something about it. My wife and I think we're going to enrol for an actual Spanish class, which should be an absolute nightmare. Husband and wife arguments and all of that stuff. But so that's the plan. We're going to work quite hard at that this year.
Well, that sounds great, Gerard, and good luck to you all. I hope you have a really great Hogmanay celebration with friends and family. And we've got a wee pressie for all of you. Alex, take one and pass them along, Gerard.
You have to supply the whiskey yourselves.
Oh, this is fantastic.
We just do the quay.
I love this so much. This is for keeping paper clips in.
But now you're all properly equipped for the bells. Let's wish the folks at home a Happy New Year. Happy New Year!
So from all of us here, from Des, from Judy, from Gerard, from Alex and myself at the Alex Salmond Show, we hope you enjoyed our Christmas special and our Hogmanay special.
Just a second. I think we've got time for one more guest, because after all, this is still the season to be jolly. Hello. It's going to be a hell of a year. The Donald unimpeached, Putin running again, and Theresa May still hanging around. And the New Year's sales are not what they were. At times like this, we seek refuge in the good book, or in Greg's the Baker's, if there are no good bookshops available. Over a sausage roll special, we can reflect on all the reasons to be cheerful. I myself celebrate with gusto All Deal or Celtic Christmas on the 6th of January. This allows me to buy presents at a fraction of the cost and to hold my party for parishioners at excellent value with leftover turkey and trimmings. Unfortunately, the lady of the manse had forgotten to secure the Wi-Fi connection, and our lecky bill payment had bounced, cutting off the cooker in the middle of heating the fish fingers. Many were called, and a few were frozen. In any case, the holding of this pagan event has not proved universally popular with my flock, or indeed the disciplinary committee of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland. However, I see my role as bringing cheer to the masses, just like the Scotland football team or the Chancellor's budget. I've been asked to give evidence to our own Scottish Parliament's committee investigating the minimum pricing of alcohol. I will be supporting this initiative with great gusto and tremendous enthusiasm. It does make the price of the good stuff relatively cheaper, while my own White Lightning home fermentation will clean up at the church summer fete. As we stare into our glass darkly, we can only dread and fear coming events. What a gift it would be to be able to see the future. It would make the lottery a doddle and the football pools a scoosh. But it's not to be. Man is destined to walk on with hope in our hearts. Happy New Year to you and yours. Slange.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and auld lang syne? For auld lang syne, my Joe, for auld lang syne, we'll talk a cup o' kindness yet for auld lang